Hi, this is Dr. Cynthia Clark, acupuncture physician, applied clinical nutritionist, and creator of Energy Evolution. And I'm also the president of Longevity Wellness. And right now it is about 5 till 5 in the morning. I woke up at 2:30 this morning in order to get to the airport on time. And you may wonder why in the world I would go someplace where I had to get up so early to come back. And it's because I got to do one of my very favorite things this weekend, which is I got to study dermatology with Mazen in Chicago. And this is so exciting for me. So one of the reasons I love this teacher so much is because the very first story he told us as we started out in this teaching today was about a study that was done in 1992, and this is what launched his interest in dermatology. And it was a study published in the British Journal of Dermatology by Mary Sheehan and DJ Atherton. And the study, it was a very interesting study. It was done in a specific way. So what they did is, this thing they usually do, studies that have like a placebo and then they have the actual medicine and they compare the results. Well, this was what they call a switched study. So they did the placebo versus the actual medicine, and then they took a break and then they switched. So the people who got the placebo then switched to the actual medicine. People who got the actual medicine then switched to placebo. And here's what the study was about. So it's a dermatology study, and the study was about people who had redness all over their body and also surface damage. And there are specific ways to measure this that are technical and help us to assess how much of this damage is on the overall body. And what they found, and honestly, they didn't do this in the proper Chinese medicine way. They just took one formula, which is not the optimal way to do it. They just took one formula and they applied it to all of the participants in the study as the actual medicine, and then they flipped it and they applied it to the other group. And what they found was that it was 100% conclusive that it significantly reduced the redness and the surface damage on every single one of the participants. The assessment level, it's like the maximum score of erythema that you can get is 180. The trial was over 100 people, and it brought the erythema surface damage from a score of 128 down to 25 for the erythema, and the surface damage from 100 down to 20. So it's a huge improvement. This was so well received in the dermatology community that they actually repeated this experiment. It's been repeated several times. So it's the great thing about it, and that was one of the demonstrations of the power of Chinese medicine. However, there was also a criticism that with this particular study, and that is that when the people stopped taking the medicine, then their conditions tended to return, and that's because that's in general kind of how the approach goes. It was like, first thing you want to do is you want to stop the horrible, awful, terrible symptoms of the redness and the surface damage and the weeping and the itching of the skin. But the better medicine is to restore the skin to stability. And that's what we really seek to do with Chinese medicine. And this particular study wasn't done from Chinese medicine perspective. It was just done, well, what happens if we take this one formula and we apply it across the board? So with proper Chinese medicine intervention, the body restores to normal, it corrects itself, and ideally without any future flare-ups. Sometimes there are future flare-ups in difficult cases or in poor prognosis cases, like alopecia areata, which is patches of baldness on the skin. And if somebody's had that since the time that they were like a very young girl, like very young.
The family of Anderson going to Tampa. Please come see us here at the podium at A15. Once again, if you're last name Anderson going to Tampa, please come see me here at the podium.
Well, I guess I'll see them on my flight. So if it's been around for a long time, if it's chronic, then it might be very difficult to reverse, or there might be future flare-ups, and that's okay. Then we can just do another course of treatment. But in the ideal, optimal situation, then what happens is the skin is corrected, and it stays corrected, and it doesn't keep having flare-ups. And by the way, the phenomenal thing about Chinese medicine for dermatological conditions, this is why I'm so absolutely, utterly in love with this, is because it corrects root causes of problems that are in the body. So for example, if a person comes in with night sweats and irritability and difficulty sleeping and poor appetite, all of those are corrected through the course of treatment for the dermatological condition. So that's what I call good medicine, is when it has excellent side benefits and additional pathways in the body correct, and additional pathogenesis correct. So all right, that's why I got up super early this morning, and that's why I spent my whole weekend studying. I'll be sitting for this exam in November, so it's a very difficult exam and very difficult to achieve this accreditation. So I appreciate your well wishes and your support. This is the third module in this coursework that I've gone through now, and I'm just so excited for all the information that I get to come back and share with you. So you'll be hearing more about dermatology in my future videos. Have a great day. Happy Monday.